Hello and welcome to the program The Desk on Global Television. Today is the 10th day of June 2024 and we're in with a big shout as we look forward to June 12th, talking about Democracy Day in Africa's biggest black nation, Nigeria. My name is Anthony Momodi. Welcome to today's edition. We'll be looking at very salient issues on the global scene and as well as on the African continent. We'll begin our talking point from the Israel-Palestine war, where Nigeria has joined the rest of the world to call for ceasefire, as Nigeria has urged the world leaders to back United States President Joe Biden's ceasefire proposal to halt the escalating violence in the Israel-Palestine conflict in a bold appeal for peace. Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, made the call for immediate global action to protect innocent lives. So we'll be looking at the implications of Nigeria's joining the rest of the world to call for peace in the Israeli-Palestinian war, what it will mean for our diplomatic relations with Israel and other rest of the world. Also, we're looking at other interesting talking points making the rounds as we look at the issue of visa renewal that's taking you to Russia, where it's been said Russia is allegedly sending thousands of migrants and foreign students to fight alongside its troops in the war against Ukraine for visa renewal. That report came via Bloomberg. And according to the business news platform, the assessment was done by some European officials who alleged that the Kremlin is doing so to add extra manpower using the tactics first deployed by the Wagner machinery group. The report added that Russia has been threatening not to extend the visas of African students and young workers unless they agree to join the military, according to officials. So we'll be looking at this. What would the Nigerian government and also Abike Dabiri Erewa, who is in charge of Nigerians in diaspora, what she will be doing to safeguard the lives of Nigerian students and also Africans who are caught in the web in the Russia-Ukraine war. So that's a very disturbing, development. So we'll be looking at that issue and shedding light on it. We'll also be looking at some recent reports that came out as regards armed conflict, where it's been said that it's been the highest in 2023, where more armed conflict took place worldwide in 2023 than any other year since the end of the Second World War, according to a Norwegian study published on Monday. Last year saw 59 conflicts, of which 28 were in Africa. The Peace Research Institute of Oslo showed, however, the number of countries which experienced the conflict declined from 39 in 2022 to 34. So we'll be looking at that very interesting study by a Norwegian outfit. So we're looking at the implication, the fact that we have large amount coming from the African continent. Then not to forget that we will also be such light on the issue of state police, where House of Reps are meeting governors, as the Borno State governor has opposed the issue of state policing. So these and other talking points is what we'll be looking at on today's edition of the program, The Desk. I will be joined via Zoom, hopefully, by the former director of News Voice of Nigeria, in the person of Ahazia Suleiman, and also by journalist Olugbenga George, who will be joining us also via Zoom to look at this very interesting talking point. All this will kickstart after this quick break. Stay with us.
government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point. This is business.
In an ever-busy world, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.
Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further. Introducing Lunch Global on Global Television, a show that takes you on a delicious journey through the world of food, nutrition, and diet. So, whether you're a seasoned foodie, a health enthusiast, or simply curious about the world of food, Lunch Global has something for everyone. Tune in Mondays to Fridays and let your taste bud take you on a journey of flavor, culture, and discovery on Lunch Global. Bon appetit!
Time check. It's midday. Then it's Midday Discourse. Midday Discourse is a program that covers trending local and international news, current issues, and human-related topics. Join Samuel Odi weekdays 1 p.m. on Global Television. The discussion starts here.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on Global Television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns.
All right, welcome back. It's now time for us to hit the discuss button as we look at very silent issues making the rounds. Let's begin from the global scene as we look at the Israel-Palestine war. And the big talking point is the fact that Nigeria eventually has urged world leaders to back the United States President Joe Biden's ceasefire proposal to halt escalating violence. Good evening, Hazel Suleiman. Thank you for joining us on the desk.
Thank you very much, Anthony. My pleasure being with you once again.
All right, thank you very much. Let's begin our discourse from the global scene as Nigeria has urged world leaders to back the United States President Joe Biden's ceasefire proposal to halt escalating violence in the Israel-Palestine conflict. Is this coming too late, or is this the right time? And do you think this is going to affect Nigeria's relationship with the Israelis?
It's not coming late, neither is it too early for Nigeria to kind of put in their own support for Joe Biden on the issue of the need for peace in Israel amongst the Israelis and the Palestinians. It's good. Nigeria is a leader in Africa in terms of politics, and President Bola Tinubu must be seen to be towing the line of peace. I don't really like what is happening. We've discussed this before, and we've seen how brutal the Israelis have been since the October 7 attack on those who were having party. On the other side, too, the Palestinians, the Hamas, honestly speaking, they are heartless. And if the people are suffering, thousands of people have died as a result of this, why can't they release those Israeli hostages that they are keeping? But the international community is not too happy. The carnage is just too much. How many children have been killed? How many people have died? And all those kind of things. I think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done the right thing by also contributing to why there must be peace in Israel amongst the Israelis and the Palestinians, as it were. Honestly speaking, it's not late and it is not too early. And you know, whatever Nigeria says, they see Nigeria as the political leader in Africa, and therefore we should lead the discussion and allow sentiments apart. Lives are being lost, and no human life should be taken for granted. All lives are very, very important. One life is as important as any other thing. And every day we see the carnage, we see reports of people dying as a result of this escalating war amongst the Palestinians and the Israelis. So I'm in full support of what President Ahmed Bola Tinubu has done by also putting in a word for peace to reign.
All right, we know the countries in the Middle East do not necessarily have a liking for the United States of America, and anybody that seems to support the U.S. When it comes to global politics is seen as an ally of the U.S. and against the Middle East bloc. Do you think this is the fact that the Israelis are not really happy with the Americans to an extent, pushing for a ceasefire and not allowing them carry out the total elimination of the Hamas group? Do you think this might pitch Nigeria against Israel on one hand and probably the Middle East?
Well, they have their own type of politics, and sincerely speaking, the way I look at Middle East politics, they are religiously biased. They're not looking at America as a country, as the world leader, as it were, but they're looking at it as a country that is anti-Islam. And that is why they are doing what they are doing. America, arguably, is the greatest democracy in the whole world. And in fact, they claim, and that is rightly said, they are the leaders of the world. And so when you see the Arab world, the Middle East conversing against the Americans, it's not basically because they don't like America, because America is supporting Israel or something like that. However, I would like to say that they are doing it on religious basis. They see America as anti-Islam, and therefore anything that has to do with them, they don't want it. For Israel, I don't think they have anything to lose, or will take Nigeria to be an enemy of them having supported, because they are allies of the Americans. And today, Bola Tinubu supporting America, I don't think there is anything there that the Israelis will see against the Nigerians. Rather, even the Middle East countries, they would do anything against us. Every country is an independent country that has the right to do whatever they feel as doing that is politically good for their own country. They will not come. They are not the ones feeding us. They are not the ones feeding Nigeria. And Nigeria is a sovereign nation that can do anything that is that they feed is good. And so supporting America in this cause is for peace and not for war. So I don't think the Middle East countries should see it otherwise. Even Israel should not see Nigeria as a country that we cannot support the carnage that is going on in that area. Lives are lost. They should slow down and allow peace to reign. Negotiations, no matter what, at the end of the day, there must be negotiations. They must come to a table for peace to reign. And therefore, they should stop what they are doing and negotiate. And Hamas should release all those hostages, because that is what the Israelis are hanging on. If they don't release all those hostages, when they killed some people and 4 Israelis were released, they were happy. The Israelis were happy. And some families that did not see their own children are angry, and they are protesting every now and then that they also want to know the fate of their own people. And therefore, the only way is for us to negotiate and sit on a round table, agree, release these people, and we stop the carnage. So it takes two to tangle. Therefore, they should not think that Israel will stop that without releasing those ones. And the Israelis also should take it easy if they are sure that the 4 people that were released, we saw them, they were hale and hearty, and they were okay. So it means that where they are being kept, they are not being tormented, they are not being maltreated, and they are being taken care of. So they should just release them, and let's have peace in the Middle East.
All right, let's wrap up the conversation with this question as regards statistics. The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza reports that 36,731 fatalities have been recorded, including children, where at least 7,797 children have been killed in Gaza. Do you think this amounts to war crime on the part of Israel, or you think it's going to be swept under the carpet because if Israel does agree to ceasefire?
You see, those statistics that they are reeling out, have you fact-checked and found out that it is correct? Because there's so much propaganda going into this conflict in Israel and Palestine. So much, depending on who is reporting what. When you watch Al Jazeera, you see them brandishing all those figures. But when you check some other sources, you find out that the figures are far less than what they are putting out. And therefore, we should take it with a pinch of salt, and unless and until we fact-checked and have the correct statistics. Yes, lives in thousands have been lost, tens and thousands have been lost, agreed. Yes, based on international treaty, it amounts to war against, well, they could be charged for that criminal killing of people, unnecessary, harmless people that are being killed. If it were the soldiers, the Hamas people that are being killed, no problem. But innocent civilians are involved. Children, the future of tomorrow, they are also involved in it. And therefore, this amount to crimes against humanity. And well, when you are charging the defense minister and the prime minister to International Court of Justice for crimes against humanity, I don't think that will solve anything. Who have they been able to convict that they committed? A sitting prime minister been challenged like that? I don't think he has committed, yes, based on international laws, charters of the United Nations. But therefore, they shouldn't just take it. They should take it easy, and everything will be resolved. Just as I said before, they need to sit on a round table to discuss these things and find a lasting solution to this crisis. And if you go spiritual as a Christian, that I will tell you, these things were already prophesied by the prophets in the Bible, that this things will come, and it will definitely going to happen. If this is what will lead to the war of Armageddon, as prophesied in the book of Revelation, so be it, because things are not getting, the whole world is going to be in confusion. And that is why the Israelis are standing on it. And these prophecies from the Bible that are taking place right now, we should not just gloss over it and look at it as if it is not serious. Biblical things, religious people will tell you. They will even tell you that it was prophesied. I don't know the book exactly when Gaza was going to be destroyed. Completely, they are going to bring down Gaza. And we are seeing it happening. If they don't want that prophecy to fulfill in their own time, they should stop ceasefire and release those hostages that they are holding on to.
All right. Okay, well said. Let's go to Russia, where something disturbing is occurring. Russia is allegedly sending thousands of migrants and foreign students to fight alongside its troops in the war against Ukraine for visa renewal. This is what Bloomberg has reported. Let's look at the consequences of this action of Russia, where they have decided to send African students, Nigerian students, alongside their troops to fight in Ukraine in exchange for renewal of visa. How disturbing is this development?
Honestly, Anthony, this is so disturbing. It's unheard of, and it's criminal in for Putin to do that. Has he run out of soldiers? So why is he insisting on fighting Ukraine? If he has run out of soldiers, he should just stop the war, because he has no reason whatsoever to invade Ukraine. And now that he doesn't have soldiers to go and fight for him, now forcing Africans and other migrants from other parts of the world to go to the war on the side of Russia, I think it's criminal, and United Nations and the entire world should condemn it. And if for instance, you and I, if our children were to be there and being forced into that war, he doesn't want his people to be killed. He wants migrants to be killed. And therefore, he should stop forthwith. The whole world should rise and condemn it completely and ask that President Putin should stop that forthwith. And if he's returning these students back to their countries, it's better than to send them to war. Are they soldiers? They went there to study. And why should they be forced into the Russian army to go and fight Ukraine? It's certainly unacceptable, and it's condemnable. The entire world should condemn it. It's not acceptable at all, at all. It's unheard of and should not be allowed to continue or to hold at all.
All right. The same report did suggest that Russians are also enlisting convicts to fight this war. Is that a sign that Russia is gradually losing steam? And how do you see this panning out? The fact that the United States is still supporting Ukraine?
It's not only the United States. The European Union, most of the European Union countries are supporting Ukraine. And therefore, for him to be using prisoners and students to enlist them, I think he's losing the steam in the war. And therefore, he ought to consider a peaceful resolution of this and cease fire from Ukraine. Ukraine is getting the sympathy and support of the entire world. So why should Putin now delve into bringing prisoners and students of migrants in his country to go and fight the war? If he's losing the war, he should accept defeat and just withdraw and go back home. So it's not acceptable for him to use, well, in the early colonial era, Australia came into being when the Great Britain then used to carry slaves and dump them in that island where you cannot run. So now he's using his prisoners to be trained. If I were them, honestly speaking, we'll go there, we'll turn the guns against them and destroy Russia, as it were. Honestly, it's not proper, and he should not reconsider this decision of using prisoners and students to go and fight the war in Ukraine. If he has lost it, he has lost it. He should accept that. Ukraine will not overrun Russia. They will not come and say they are taking over Russia. No, certainly not. So what they should do is just to accept the defeat and let them come to truce and have a peace.
All right, thank you. Well said. Let's move to the next talking point. We're looking at armed conflict. The highest in 2020 is in 2023 since the end of the Second World War. More armed conflict took place worldwide in 2023 than any other year since the end of the Second World War, according to a Norwegian study published on Monday. Last year saw 59 conflicts, of which 28 of them were in Africa. The Peace Research Institute of Oslo, Norway, had showed. However, the number of countries which experienced conflict declined from 39 in 2022 to 34. Let's look at this issue of conflict and the statistics indicating that 2023 has been the highest year with conflict since the end of the Second World War. And Africa, out of 50 plus conflicts, 59 conflicts across the globe, 28 is from Africa. That's more than half of the number of conflicts.
It's frightening, scaring, and honestly speaking, out of the 28 countries in Africa, of course, you know, we have armed conflicts in Nigeria in about 4 regions: the Northeast, the Southeast, the Middle Belt, and the Northwest. All these, the Small Arms Treaty is not being imposed. Our crisis, armed conflict in Africa, from the fall of Gaddafi, Africa has never known peace once again. And the proliferation of arms became so free that every now and then countries in this Sahara sub-region, sub-Saharan region, started having this serious armed conflict. The Boko Haram, the Islamic State of West Africa, and going to the Horn of Africa, all those conflicts there. And the arms, who are the suppliers of these arms? Honestly, it's so scary and so frightening that people are not seeing the dangers that are ahead. Those in power today, tomorrow, if care is not taken, these bandits will overrun them and destroy whatever they are building, or even their colonies that they are sitting on, seeing that because they are protected by some armed security men, it will not stay forever. And therefore, they should, as a matter of fact, try to end this conflict. In Nigeria, for instance, each time we think the thing has come down, the military will come out and start announcing that they are winning the war against insurgency and Boko Haram, the more these people will unleash terror on the people. Look at what has been happening in Zamfara. Each time they come up with something thinking that we are thinking that the thing is coming to an end, that is when lot of people. Plateau is not left out. We've had in the recent 1 week or so, tens of people being killed harmlessly, armlessly. They don't have arms, but where are these bandits getting these arms that they are unleashing and using it to kill people? That is a serious question that needs answers from the government. They should take it serious. I give you an example, practical example. In 1983, when Meitetsine insurgency came up, is it 1983 or 1981 or thereabout? It was a military regime. I know my state, Gombe, was a region in Bauchi State. The governor himself led the armed the soldiers to go and fight them. And within 48 hours, they were all destroyed. They were sacked and killed. And they sacked them and there was peace. The same thing in Maiduguri, the same thing in Yola, the same thing in Kano. These were the places that Meitetsine operated. And the same style Boko Haram came and used. Up till now, 14 years, 15 years down the line, we have not recovered the girls that they took from Chibok. In the middle belt, Benue Plateau, we have had a lot of people being kidnapped, people being killed. So go to the Horn of Africa, it's the same thing, the kidnapping and the killings. Now, you can see that in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, these conflicts have come down significantly. Why? Because there's a decisive government in place who cannot tolerate, they are not politicizing all these crises. And once our government now takes it and stop politicizing this crisis, that will be the end of this armed conflict. So Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, they are having less conflicts. And that is why the statistics now show that there is a drop in the figure of countries that they are having this armed conflicts in it. So these are the kind of things you must be decisive, be it civilian, be it military government, you must be decisive and take action. Stop politicization of this crisis and we will have peace.
All right, but in terms of the
Hello?
All right, welcome back from the break. You're still watching The Desk on Global Television, and we've been talking to the former Director of News Voice of Nigeria in the person of Ahazia Suleiman. All right, before we went for that quick break, I was asking the question that we noticed that the number of countries involved or that has experienced conflict has declined from 39 in 2022 to 34. Is that a good sign? Or
I think it's a good sign. If we're having lesser countries that are involved in armed conflict, it's a good sign we're improving from 50-something to 30-something. I think it's excellent. It's good. I think it should continue like that. The efforts that have been made to reduce this armed conflict, we should continue to build on it and make sure that these armed conflicts are reduced to the barest minimum. We should revisit the treaty on small arms proliferation. Arms should not be allowed to go freely, to be sold freely in the open market for everybody to get. If these arms are controlled, I think the conflict will reduce significantly. Forget about the locally manufactured arms that we are having in one or two places, some everywhere, but those ones are not as sophisticated as the ones being imported. Some people are eating fat in the cells of these arms. How do they transport them from where they are being manufactured to Africa and to other regions of conflict? Only God knows. And so that is, you cut up the supplies and you have peace.
all right, let's look at the next talking point. We've got the issue of state police, where the House of Reps are meeting with governors and the Borno state government opposing the move. We are told that the Borno state government has kicked against the establishment of state police in the country. The Secretary of the National Economic Council, Nebo Olisa Anako, disclosed this in a text message sent to correspondent and media. Anako, who was responding to an inquiry said nearly all 36 state governors had submitted their reports on state police, with many of them positive except for Borno State. Borno State is the only state against it. Let's look at, is it not surprising that Borno State, which has suffered a lot in the northeast in terms of insecurity, would be against state policing, which a lot of people have said is key towards solving insecurity problems in the country?
Tony, let me tell you, you recall we discussed this thing some time ago, and after the IGP opposed the creation of, say, Nigeria is not yet matured for state police, and I supported the IGP stand, and I said Nigeria is not yet matured, citing examples of what happened with the Kogi state governor, how he used federal apparatus to protect his own arrest, the governor, serving governor, and the former governor doing that precisely. Then the issue in Kano, conflict of either police. So if these governors have their own police, there won't be elections in this country. They will unleash their policemen onto their opponents, and there will be no elections. So I still want to stand Nigeria. I'm not against it totally, but we are not yet matured for state policing. The governor of Borno knows what he is saying. He knows if he has policemen around him, he could unleash them to fight even the army, and therefore there won't be any peace. So allowing the federal government to own and control the police for now, I'm insisting this for now, is the best thing that will happen to us as a nation. But if you follow the idea of the governors, believe you me, the way they are operating, I don't think any other opposition party will have the chance to stand for elections or any other thing. Once you oppose them, once you say anything, the freedom of expression that we're enjoying now, they will send people after you and they will arrest you and lock you up and beat you up. Or already the media has been suffering of recent. My good friend Madu was arrested the other day, the other journalists, and for writing something, expressing themselves. And I think these governors they are not democratic in nature, and they don't tolerate any form of criticism or opposition. So one governor was quoted as saying that if opposition is as small as an ant, crush it, because if you allow it to grow into an elephant and destroy it. So crush it as small as it is before it grows and become an elephant that will fill the room and will not have any space. And so if that is the kind of mentality that our governors have, I don't think it is right for us to allow them to have their own police. If we're having this police, maybe Nigeria has to be reformed and go back to the Constitutional Conference reform recommendations on how to put this country into govern it through regions. Then the regions can have central government, while the states within the regions will depend on the regional police to handle their own affairs. But for now, giving these governors this power to have policemen, completely we will be rocking the boat, and it will not be good enough for us as a nation.
All right, thank you very much, Ahaza. We'll go for a very quick break. When we return from the break, the program continues. Please stay with us. Has he rejoined?
For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight.
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on Global Televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point, this is business.
In an ever-busy world, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.
Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further. Introducing Lunch Global on Global Television, a show that takes you on a delicious journey through the world of food, nutrition, and diet. So, whether you're a seasoned foodie, a health enthusiast, or simply curious about the world of food, Lunch Global has something for everyone. Tune in Mondays to Fridays and let your taste bud take you on a journey of flavor, culture, and discovery on Lunch Global. Bon appetit!
Time check. It's midday. Then it's Midday Discourse. Midday Discourse is a program that covers trending local and international news, current issues, and human-related topics. Join Samuel Odi weekdays 1 p.m. on Global Television. The discussion starts here.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Is the desk on Global Television?
Nigeria. Come join Anthony Momodu on television's most compelling and facts-finding talk live show.
We are the Palestinians.
Can we not say that again?
Because
that this country gets it right.
It's the Dex on global television, where we analyze and dissect storming issues and commentaries in the world's biggest black nation, Nigeria.
Who is being held accountable for this money?
The eyes have it.
We stay and decide policies and reforms on the Dex. Tune in Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on global television. Let's stay on the Dex. For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight,
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on global televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on global television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point. This is business.
In an ever-busy world, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.
Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further. Introducing Lunch Global on global television, a show that takes you on a delicious journey through the world of food, nutrition, and diet. So, whether you're a seasoned foodie, a health enthusiast, or simply curious about the world of food, Lunch Global has something for everyone. Tune in Mondays to Fridays and let your taste bud take you on a journey of flavor, culture, and discovery on Lunch Global. Bon appetit!
Time check. It's midday. Then it's Midday Discourse. Midday Discourse is a program that covers trending local and international news, current issues, and human-related topics. Join Samuel Odi weekdays 1 p.m. on Global Television. The discussion starts here.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Is the desk on Global Television?
Nigeria. Come join Anthony Momodu on television's most compelling and facts-finding talk live show.
We are definitely. Can we not say that again? Because
That this country gets it right.
who are these bandits?
It's the Dex on Global Television, where we analyze and dissect storming issues and commentaries in the world's biggest black nation, Nigeria.
Who is being held accountable for this money?
The eyes have it.
We stay and decide policies and reforms on the Dex. Tune in Mondays to Fridays, 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Global Television. Let's stay on the Dex. For an insightful idea that takes the center stage and the conversation that gets beyond the headlines, to explore the lasting impact of political decisions, Big Talk got you covered. From policy debates to geopolitical insights, from thought-provoking discussions to actionable insight,
What is the real responsibility of government?
Big Talk delves deep into the heart of the matter. Join us weekdays on Global Televisions from 6:30 p.m. for a reverting journey into the heart of politics, where we dissect issues shaping our society.
With every government and introduction of new policies, businesses of all kinds and sizes seize the opportunity to evolve and redefine themselves. Business Point on Global Television is where we follow the money and put the facts and figures right in front of you. Watch Business Point every Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. as Kikelamo Okeri tracks all the latest developments across critical sectors. Business Point, this is business.
In an ever-busy world, the increasing challenge of keeping track of health matters can be extremely demanding. Follow the latest health tips and trends on Health Guide on Global Television on Tuesday at 3 p.m. Health Guide on Global Television. Put your health first.
Are you a food lover? Do you care about your health and nutrition? Are you interested in exploring the diverse culinary traditions from around the world? Then look no further. Introducing Lunch Global on Global Television, a show that takes you on a delicious journey through the world of food, nutrition, and diet. So, whether you're a seasoned
All right, welcome back from that quite a long break. Is now let's finish the business angle of the program. Let's begin with the talking point as regards the minimum wage, where the national chairman of the Social Democratic Party, Shehu Gabam, has urged the federal government not to pay civil servants less than 100,000 naira if it truly wants the masses to breathe. Gabam made the appeal when he was featured as a guest on a TV program. Ahazi Suleiman, thank you for rejoining us on the desk.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's look at what the SDP chairman is saying, that if the federal government wants the port or the workers to breathe, they have to pay 100,000 naira as a minimum wage. We already know that the federal government is still yet to come out to say they are willing to pay the 62,000 naira minimum wage already agreed upon.
Well, the federal government has offered 62,000 per month, while the state governors are saying that 62 is too high. They cannot afford or sustain it even when it is approved, and therefore the federal government should look into it by bringing it down. I don't think we have, the states we are federated nations, sub-nationals. So every state should be able to consider what it can afford and what is sustainable. But they shouldn't deny the federal government from increasing the pay of workers. Today, in fact, I saw a picture trending on social media where Nido, that used to be like how many thousand, now is selling for 61,000. And somebody just wrote there that 61,000 minimum wage buying a tin of Nido milk. And so you can see the Nigeria of today, 100,000 is not even enough for a young man that is married with one child going to school, paying electricity bills, saving for rent, transporting himself or herself to office.
Okay.
And all those kind of things. So even the 100. Yes, Tony.
All right. For you, what difficulty is it getting the federal government to agree, or the state governors now to agree to pay this amount? And do you think the federal government can put pressure on the state governors to pay this amount of money, knowing fully well that they've got what is called a security vote that is not accounted for, alongside the constant federal allocation that comes to the states?
Honestly speaking, not all states are equal in this country. The oil-producing states can afford to pay even higher than what the federal government is paying because they don't have civil servants as much as the federal government does. But pick a state like Jigawa, Yobe, or Gombe states. Can they afford? How much do they generate annually as internally generated revenue? They depend solely 80–90% on the federation allocation. And therefore, if you say Delta State, River State, Lagos State, even though they are not in the among the states that collect derivation from the oil producing states, Akwa Ibom and all those states, they can afford to pay even if it is 150 or 200,000, and therefore they shouldn't shy away because the security vote, those monies that they collect from, what do they use it for? Is their personal pocket money. Yeah, so you shouldn't be uniform. That is my own take. It shouldn't be uniform. Not all states can afford, because even if they afford, it's what they collect from the federation that they will use in paying the civil servant, and it is not sustainable. They will not have monies left for developmental purposes. What the federal government can do is maybe if they have extra money, they allocate certain amount for them. But those states that produce oil and they have 13% derivation fee can afford to do that. They have no excuse whatsoever to pay their workers properly.
All right, let's quickly, for the want of time, I would like you to take two talking points at a go. One, healthcare, federal government to sanction hospitals rejecting emergency patients without police reports. Then the second, we're looking at the Super Eagles will be in action tonight against the Cheetahs of Benin Republic. 3 draws in a row. Are we likely not to go to the World Cup again?
Honestly, let him start from that one, then go to the issue of not accepting people in the hospitals. A short while ago, where we were in break, I saw that we were playing 1-1. I said, Nigeria playing 4 consecutive draws, then forget it. We are nowhere close to the World Cup. I was among those who expressed skepticism when Finidi George was appointed. We went for the cheapest one, then you don't expect quality matches. You have the players, but you need a coach, very experienced coach, who can read matches to be the coach of Nigeria. Nigeria scored within 4 minutes. The Benin was equalized, and therefore, I don't think if they don't win this game today, the game is on. If they don't win it today, then forget it. Forget it. We'll be playing catch up. I expected them to win overwhelmingly today and come get 6 points. Then they will move up to either second or third. We cannot be fifth on the log and think that we will qualify for this World Cup. Just forget it. It will just be like the one that went by. We brought Gavon at the dying minute, and he couldn't deliver for us. So
all right, thank you very much. That's how much time can allow us take on today's edition of The Desk. Thank you, Ahazia Suleiman, for joining us and for your very balanced analysis. All right, that's how we call it a wrap on today's edition of the program, The Desk. My name is Anthony Momodi saying thank you for joining me. Let's do this again tomorrow.